So what's up, guys? Knowledge is self-determination. I know it's dark as fuck, but it's nighttime, so I had an interesting topic that I really wanted to get into, and it's about fear. I've been thinking about this situation with our ongoing war with white supremacy for the past 400 plus years, almost 500 years. We have been going through this situation, this ongoing battle, this never ending struggle, right? So, and throughout the years, the centuries, the decades, we have had a lot of setbacks. We haven't had any real wins for real. None whatsoever. Integration wasn't a fucking win for us. Because with us getting duped into integration, we lost the opportunity to actually get tangibles. We have time and time again experienced the traitorous hearts of the cowards that are a part of our group, that are part of our race. We have time and time again had to experience sellout after sellout, going to the feds, going to the enemy to impede our fight for freedom, equality, justice. They help the enemy in the worst way by giving the enemy insights on who and what we are, which actually helps the enemy further tweak its tactics to become better tools for destroying us. And I'm trying to understand how there can be that much fucking fear, because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Fear. Fear of what? And this question is I'm posing to not just those who take financial payments, their meritorious manumissions, but what is it? What are they afraid of? I think some people are afraid of being on the losing team. They don't have any belief or hope in black people. So they say, fuck black people. I'm going to just go ahead and play for the winning team because black people don't seem to care. It could be fear of actually fighting our enemy, fear of dying, fear of losing one's life, because we are at war. And I don't think anybody really wants to accept that fact that we are at war and that blood will have to be shed. Blood is being shed, and it's mostly ours in this fucking war. It's mostly ours. So I want to know, what are we afraid of? Are we afraid of death? I can understand the fear of death. I can understand fear of dying. I can understand that. The fear of not existing anymore, although some people believe that they will continue to exist. And if you do, what exactly are you fucking afraid of then? If you believe you will live on after this, why are you afraid to stand up and fight? You see, I peered into the abyss. I peered into that darkness. And that shit looked back at me, and I saw absolutely fucking nothing. That's not so bad. You know what the fuck I'm afraid of? More than that, more than death, more than walking through that valley of the shadow of death. You know what I'm afraid of more than the abyss glancing back at me as I peer into it and fall deeper and deeper into it? I fear dying for no fucking reason whatsoever. That's what I'm afraid of. My life having no fucking purpose. Dying for nothing. staring in the face of white supremacy, looking at our situation, our plight, and doing absolutely fucking nothing. That's what I fear. I fear living a life that is absolutely fucking meaningless. That's what I fear. If I was afraid of anything, especially if it had to do with death, that's what the fuck I'm afraid of. How I die matters. I want my death to mean something. Going out in a blaze of glory, not necessarily in some wild ass fucking shootout in the streets, but dying as a champion for my people. That's what I want. That's what I've always wanted. If I was gonna go, that's how the fuck I want to go. I want my death to mean something to the struggle. Understand? Nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to be shot, stabbed, beat up. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through hard times like living in some post-apocalyptic fucking future where we're scrounging for scraps, living through the Book of Eli and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Where the ozone layer has completely been disintegrated because we nuked the planet and all that shit. Nobody wants to live like that. But it's still living, right? I think our people are afraid. I think our people are afraid to look death in the face and say, fuck you. I'm fighting for my people because our ancestors did that shit. Fred Hampton did that shit. Martin, Malcolm. I mean, do I have to run through the same old names? We all know who these guys were and these women were who stared death in the face and said, fuck you. We got to stop being afraid. We got to stop being afraid of learning. Stop being afraid of fucking books. Stop being afraid to read. Stop being afraid to understand that there is a larger world out there and it's bigger than your fucking block. It's bigger than your city. It's bigger than the color you rep. It's bigger than all that shit. If we are not fighting to end white supremacy, then we're not doing a fucking thing. And all you're doing is wasting your life. You're a fucking zero. You're a placeholder. You're literally occupying a space that somebody useful could actually be in. You're a fucking placeholder. White supremacy should be all that matters to us. Fighting, overcoming. That should be the only thing that matters to us as a group, as a whole. Winning this war should be the only thing that concerns us. You see, our enemies know that we'd rather live blissfully in ignorance than to actually buckle down and do what's best so that our race, so that our culture can continue to proliferate into the future. Every other group has looked at this and said, this isn't going to be us. See, we don't have any fucking allies. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. We don't have any allies. Nobody else is looking at black people like they need to help us. Their position within white supremacy is secure. They are above us on the totem pole, so they don't give a fuck about their feet getting wet. Understand? The totem pole analogy, I think, makes perfect sense. We were the first ones here, and we're the ones that's on the fucking bottom. Remember, the totem pole, from what I understand, the first fucking totem to actually get put on the pole is the one that's always at the bottom first, right? Just like us. We can live outside of white supremacy and have our own circle and be ready and willing to defend and fight for ours. Stop being fucking scared. Because I think ultimately that's what it all boils down to. A bunch of fucking fear. All of the Negro naysayers who are out in the world basically caping for the Democratic or the Republican parties. They are fucking they are afraid. They're afraid. It's fear more than anything. Sure, the money sounds good, but they are afraid of picking the losing team. And what they don't understand is if you didn't side with the enemy, we wouldn't necessarily be losing. Now, would we? It's time to grow up and snap up out of this shit, man. I know not many people are going to listen to this. Not many people even give a fuck. You know, as long as they can keep bringing out a different pair of AF1s every few months or so, and Popeyes and keep the motherfucking chicken sandwiches rolling out, we don't give a fuck. As long as Gucci make a new belt, as long as Jordan put out a new sneaker, you understand? As long as there's a new funny movie out, somebody doing a comedy special, ha ha ha. As long as that's what's happening in the world, we good. As long as Hennessy keep on making alcohol, Jack Daniels, E&J, as long as we can continue to live in our gluttonous ass lives, not really paying attention to the enemy that stands adjacent, I guess we're all good with that. While the enemy continues to plot and plan, hone its senses, and continue to weaken us and divide us, and continue to pick us off. Black women are being snatched up around this country, around the world. Tens of thousands of black women are just gone in this country. But instead of patrolling our streets and our communities to keep our loved ones safe, we'd rather get high, get drunk, stand on the block, and bang on each other. I don't understand how somebody could be so fearless in the face of an enemy who's standing in front of them with a gun and then see a white man and scatter like a fucking cockroach. I don't understand that kind of fear. I don't understand that. You'd rather die at the hands of your brother than die fighting white supremacy? What the fuck are you dudes really afraid of? What the fuck are we really afraid of? What are we really afraid of? I'm not talking like the ultimate tough guy. Trust me, I'm not. You understand? I'm not talking like I'm the shit. I'm not. But I know who the fuck I am. And I know what I'm willing to do because I've done it. You understand? I've done it. And I'll do it again and again and again and again. Because there's just some shit that you just don't have time to be afraid of. And if you got time to fear your enemy, then your fucking enemy wins. I don't have time to be afraid of my enemy. I can learn from my enemy, which is why I'm not afraid of him. Not just that, but what the fuck else are you going to do if you're not here to fight for the liberation of your people? For us to get what the fuck we are owed, what we are deserved. I don't understand that shit. I'm trying to get it. I really am. But all that tough guy shit, all that tough guy bravado is just you covering up your fears and insecurities. It's basic psychology. Basic psychology. You can't tell me that you're not afraid when a cop can come into your community and snatch the women up, kill the kids, beat up the old people, lock up the brothers for no reason, and you stand by and do absolutely nothing. But just pile on to what white supremacy is already doing. Pardon my ignorance, but I don't get it. There can't be that much fucking fear in the world, but apparently there is. So I ask you, black people, what the fuck are you afraid of?